Joining us now with stories trending around the world is OjyOkpe, who is wearing purple, which is royalty, strength.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Purple is royalty and strength. I love it. Happy New Year, Dr. Abati.
Same to you.
Perfect. Happy New Year. Ayo, you look beautiful.
Thank you.
I love this dress. Thank you. Good morning, Rufai. How are you this morning?
I saw you last year.
I saw you last year.
Yeah.
You know, and the last time I ate was last year.
Yes.
I'm hungry. No, you've eaten, okay.
Oh, yeah,
I'm just kidding.
After Passover, we had like small snack.
So the last time you ate was last year.
We had small snack after Passover.
Well, all right.
You had a midnight.
We had a midnight. I think it's tradition. So with the certain family, so we had a midnight snack.
Well,
after
thank
Passover,
God we made it to
Passover,
2026. Well, all right. Well, good morning to you, viewers. And Happy New Year. Let's begin what's trending. As the clock struck midnight across time zones, millions welcomed 2026 with spectacular firework displays from South Pacific to the Americas. Cities celebrated with both joy and somber tributes. Sydney led celebrations with a powerful tribute to victims of the December 14th terror attack at Bondi Beach that killed 15 people during Hanukkah celebration. Across Asia, several cities tempered celebration. Seoul honored 179 victims of the Muan airport disaster at Bosingak Pavilion. While Dubai staged a massive celebration centered on the Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building, at midnight. Fireworks launched from multiple levels of the 828-meter tower. This spectacle was part of 48 displays across 40 locations in the Emirate. That was gorgeous. Well, across Africa, major cities welcomed 2026 with fireworks and prayers in Nairobi. Old Mutal Tower in Upper Hill staged a spectacular fireworks display as crowds gathered in churches and entertainment spots across the city. What did you say, Bisco?
It's Bisco we did this year. You know,
it's not Bisco, that's not true. In Nigeria, millions trooped into churches for crossover services while fireworks adorned the skyline at midnight. It's beautiful. Paris lit up the Arc de Triomphe with fireworks after a countdown projection. The display featured an all-female playlist concluding with John Lennon's Imagine.
Imagine there's no heaven. See if you try. No hell below us.
Well, London saw 100,000 people watch fireworks from the London Eye as Big Ben tolled midnight. Rio de Janeiro prepared for over 2 million people at Copacabana Beach, while New York's Times Square filled with crowds for the ball drop.
To myself, what a wonderful world.
Well, Happy New Year. From Sydney to New York, 2026 arrived with displays of hope and resilience. While tragedy marked recent weeks in several cities, the global message remained one of unity as billions counted down together to welcome the new year. Again, Happy New Year to all our viewers, yes, really. I mean, isn't it the most special time of the year?
Yes.
This, you know, from 2025 to 2020, that crossover with fireworks in the sky. Are your 2 seconds?
I enjoyed your fireworks display on your social media platform. And, you know, I think that was just a representation of
that what?
The Nigerian
What is Bisco? Please, can we speak?
You know, long to enjoy you know, long Miss Godfire.
Fireworks
is different. Even if you burn, you can't kill.
Yes, yes. Fireworks in Nigeria.
Fairness to Nigeria,
yes.
remember that usually we would have a Lagos fiesta.
Yes.
And part of the end of that fiesta would be a massive firework display.
Yes.
So we would have been able to compete with all the other fireworks display that you've shown from Dubai to Sydney to New York. But in recognition of what is the prevailing circumstance in the state, in Lagos, and across the country, the celebration was mooted. So they said, instead, go to churches and your places of worship and pray for the nation.
Right.
So this fireworks was not, this is not ours. So, so let me just say, just to make that case for Nigeria, we can do that.
Yes.
We have done that.
We have.
Lagos State has become a synonym for our eyes, for displays like this. If you go to Abuja, if you go to our prime cities, but this year we thought, let's focus on our focus and enjoy this displays from other parts of the world. Next year, see you next year. See you at the end of this year. You will see us.
Again, Happy New Year. I think this was a beautiful celebration. Now to politics in Nigeria. Reactions have trailed the much-anticipated decision of former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi defecting to the African Democratic Congress. Peter Obi made the decision on Wednesday in Enugu during a special event organized by Southeast stakeholders from the People's Democratic Party, Labour Party, and All Progressives Grand Alliance. Peter Obi stated that he's beginning a journey to rescue Nigeria for proper socio-economic development that will be unifying and inclusive. Obi also issued a strong warning to those planning to rig the 2027 election, saying that they will be resisted by every means lawful and legitimate. Let's take a look.
We've not seen people who benefited in our democracy be part of celebrating electoral fraud publicly. And we are saying that those who are planning to rig an election in Nigeria come 2027 we will resist it by every means lawful and legitimate. And we are urging this happen because we have weak institutions like INEC, which we are urging them in the coming election. We must do whatever it is to follow the rules and the regulation, starting by educational qualification for eligibility to sit for any election. We can no longer be where they are asking whether this person went to school or not. We have 1 year now to determine who went to school and who didn't go to school. We have 1 year now for people to tell us the school they attended. And when they left those schools, we don't want it to be something we go to court after election. They say it's pre-election matter. We have pre-election situation now to verify everybody who wants to contest the election for Nigeria. And we must follow that.
All right, Peter Obi's defection has gotten a lot of reaction. I'll take this one from former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, who welcomed Peter Obi's decision to join the ADC, describing the step as critical to challenge power and an opportunity to deliver good governance to Nigerians. Atiku expressed this in a post on X, stating in part that today marks a significant moment in the history of political coalition in our country with the official declaration of my brother and associate, Peter Obi, into the African Democratic Congress. It is my pleasure to welcome him officially as we look forward to a robust working relationship that will foster a virile opposition, one that will ultimately form a government capable of bringing prosperity and peace to our people. Well, Governor of Abia State, Otti, has also reacted to Peter Obi's defection, saying that he will not be leaving the Labour Party. He reiterated that he joined the party before Peter Obi did. Speaking on Tuesday during his monthly media chat in Umuahia, Otti said he gave Peter Obi his blessing to leave. He also revealed that the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, had been prompting him to join the APC, but he resisted. Well, Governor Otti's decision to remain in the Labour Party has also been met with mixed reactions as it signals a potential split in the party's leadership ahead of the 2027 elections. Dr. Abati, I'd love your reaction to Peter Obi's defection and, of course, the comments from Atiku Abubakar and Otti.
Okay. Yeah, well, people had expected that this would happen.
Yes.
Because it was clear that Mr. Peter Obi had joined the Progressives, who had moved into the ADC. What remained was for him to make the declaration. And now on 31st December, that has been done in the presence of chieftains of the ADC and other political figures who may likely still join him in the ADC. However, I was, more interested in his speech. It was a very well-prepared speech, and maybe let me just emphasize some of the highlights. He was calling for one, electoral reform, and saying that INEC, that's the Electoral Commission, is a weak institution, and that weak institution has to be strengthened so that we will not have a situation in 2027 when people will present coupon sheets as certificates that they got when they left secondary school. You know how it has happened before in this country. You know, although for you to insist on educational qualification, you have to amend the Constitution, because in the Constitution, you don't need more than school start F9 parallel. In fact, you don't even need to attend a secondary school. Yeah. If you just, Ayo just organizes one workshop or training something and gives you a certificate of attendance, that is enough.
There's nothing more
in
important
fact,
than
INEC can say
education,
that if
really.
you can speak English successfully, it doesn't matter. If they think that ability to speak English is enough, you can be anything in this country. Now, that is a problem. At a time in the world when you have some countries like Japan, like South Korea, you check their cabinet, you check their... These are people from topmost universities in the world. Then you go and carry people who don't even have a secondary school certificate to come and rule a country of so many people. Now, he also talked about what he has done in terms of preparation.
Yes.
You know, he came across as a man who is prepared in terms of trainings that he has attended and persons that he has consulted, whether it's Professor Robinson, Nobel laureate at Chicago State University, or Professor Peter Lewis, who is the author of a book titled Growing Apart, which he said he read. Another professor, which he said, you know, Professor Utomi introduced him to. That's Professor Nicole Cox. Yes, I think that's the name. Professor Nicole Cox, saying that, look, unity is important. So he was preaching about being prepared, being qualified, being competent, being just. He listed, you know, qualities that Nigerians should expect in a leader, not people who are just, you know, in a position just because they have the opportunity to get there. And efforts that he made to meet with cabinet members in Indonesia, including the vice president and the president, and they discuss ideas about what a country can do for itself and how they did it in Indonesia. He said he met with President Paul Kagame, which has GDP growth that Nigeria cannot even talk about. So he said all of that, but at the end of the day, he talked about unity. So those are the highlights. There is more, but let me just stop, since I'm not giving the speech, reopening the speech on his behalf. But the issue about the platform that he has chosen, the ADC. Now, you have former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, who says it's welcome, they can work together. Work together in what shape? In that same party, you have Rotimi Amaechi. Now, what is Rotimi Amechi's ambition? So there is still going to be a lot of play in that party. Now, take note of Julius Abure. Julius Abure says it is good that he has left. That in fact they had been expecting. That in fact it's a blessing to the Labour Party. And that Labour Party now has been liberated. What it means about that, you know, it's not yet clear. But as for Mr. Alex Otti, he can make his own choices. And it too has been in politics. So it's not compulsory that he has to follow Mr. Peter Obi.
Fantastic. Alex Otti is still in the party. The last story I took about Peter Obi, he said that he is not running to be anybody's vice. He's running for the presidential ticket. And so I hope, you know, there'll be a well-robust primaries that will bring out the best candidates in the
if anybody reads in 2027, he says we will resist it.
That's
by all means, lawful
means
and constitutional.
All right, well, let the race begin. Well, in another development, Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed accused the federal government of using federal institutions to target the opposition and intimidating him for refusing to defect to the APC. Mohammed, who is a member of the PDP, made the statement on Wednesday at the Bauchi Government House after receiving an award for safety from the Safety Institute in Nigeria. Let's take a look.
Just waking up to an occasion where I was told that I'm being accused of terrorism as a governor. Someone who is the head of the opposition. My commissioner has been kept and will not be released by an EFCC. Even when I have immunity as a governor, my name was stupendously mentioned in a motion in a court of law in Nigeria. Me, Bala Mohammed. This is a country where when you walk, you become a villain, you become an idiot. I have kept quiet for too long, just for peace and security. Because as politicians, we should not overhate the polity. But I am not a coward. I'm just keeping quiet because of the common people. The APC-led federal government think they can use the courts, the institution of government, like the EFCC, to persecute and prosecute Nigerians that are not within their own party. If they don't stop, we are going to declare war. I assure you we are not going to keep quiet any longer. I won't allow anybody to criminalize me because I'm not in their party. And I refuse to join their party. And I will not join their party.
Oh, this is such a strong allegation, Rufai. And I'll take a reaction from Lord Foster, who wrote, "We didn't need a press conference to know this. It is a standard playbook to join the choir or face the FCC. It is not about fighting corruption. It's about enforcing compliance. They are weaponizing state institutions to force a one-party state, and anyone who refuses to kneel suddenly gets labeled a terrorist or has their files dusted off. It's blackmail, plain and simple.
Even people that are in this government that have files piling up in the FCC, but once they are in cahoots with this government, nobody dust up their files. You can see Bala Mohammed, what's his crime? He's fighting to be able to keep the PDP one and all of that. All of a sudden, they are dusting up his file. In fact, there was a corruption. I'm not saying let's not fight corruption. Please don't get me wrong. There was a corruption case against one of his commissioners. If they found guilty, they should be made to face the law. Look at Malami. I'm not saying don't fight corruption against Malami. All of a sudden, after 2 years, the Malami is the spotlight, anti-corruption fight, boost. I think he spent the new year in Kuje. But the question we should ask is, what of some people that they have put in part of their reconciliation committee that at some point some people swore that, if we don't bring this person to book, if the court doesn't rule over, I will resign my job. I will resign my job. The same person they say they will resign their job over, all of a sudden, is now a beautiful bride. In fact, the person has even said is going to run for Senate. And some people say they will resign their job. And we are not hearing that activity. But anyway, when that media war was on there, we stood for the truth. Yeah? We fought for the truth. We said the rule of law should take its course. So in this country, we are not saying don't fight corruption. But what we keep saying, and that's what a lot of people are also pointing out as regards this tax law, so that it's not going to be something they will now use against their opposition. The question is, please, let it be the same threshold across board. Even if your friend or not your friend. That's what we are saying.
Yes.
Let it be the same threshold across board. It's not the fact that we know there are some people, they are filing in big for EFCC. But today, they are gallivanting around. But because people have showed one feet in the opposition, then they start to attack them.
Yeah.
We are not saying, please, if those people have done things in the past, that they stole money, the EFCC should go after them, bring them to book as long as they have the charges over them. But this high-handed, this using EFCC to force, because let's not forget, you are in power today, you will not be in power tomorrow. The same people that use EFCC against some people yesterday, today they are facing the wrath of EFCC. Let's be careful in this life.
Let's be careful. Now on the milestones, we begin by highlighting the losses in Nigeria's political landscape last year. From former presidents to political strategists, the nation lost a number of monumental figures, including Edwin Clark, a former federal commissioner for information who died in February at the age of 98 in Abuja. Clark was also a recipient of the Order of the Federal Republic as well as the Order of the Niger and worked with the administrations of military governor Samuel Ogbemedia and former head of state Yakubu Gowon. The following month saw the passing of OjyOkpe in March, a political strategist who also served as the presidential spokesman to former President Olusegun Obasanjo, as well as President Goodluck Jonathan. Okpe also worked as the DG on Peter Obi's 2023 presidential candidate. Then Mohammed Lawal Uwais passed away in June and was a former Chief Justice of Nigeria and chairman of the Electoral Reforms Committee. His involvement in the Nigerian judicial system spanned decades, beginning as early as the 1960s. Then, former governor of Kwara State, Cornelius Olatunji Adebayo, passed away in June. Adebayo had emerged as governor of the state during the Second Republic and died at the age of 84. He also served as the Minister of Communications and Transportation during Obasanjo's administration. The Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State, Lawrence Ewujakpo, who died suddenly in December at the age of 60. Governor Doyodiri in turn declared a 3-day state of mourning in honor of his life and expressed his heartfelt condolences to his wife and children. Finally, the nation fell into a state of shock and grief after the passing of former President Muhammadu Buhari. Buhari, who also served as a military head of state, died in London at the age of 82 and was later laid to rest in his hometown of Daura, Katsina State. Well, Nigeria's political landscape was also profoundly shaped by these leaders who dedicated their lives to public service. From Edwin Clark's decades in governance to President Buhari's leadership, their legacies will continue to influence the nation's future. May their souls rest in peace. I mean, this was, a huge list of political icons from former President Muhammadu Buhari to Edwin Clark, who was, also a freedom fighter. Ayo, 2 seconds.
Yes, very, very true. I mean, one of the, perhaps the most notable would be the former president of Nigeria, whereby he was given a state burial. He was rightly honored by President Bala Mohammed. And I agree with him or not on his politics. He had served first as military ruler and then coming in as a democratically elected president for 2 terms. He was also a father, seen as a father of politics, a political godfather in his home state of Katsina, also in the northern region as well, wielded a lot of influence and power. For Pa Edwin Clark, and for us, it was also quite personal because you would recall that he's one of our very distinguished and well-respected guests. Analyst, he comes here and he's like a family member, and we open up the year with his loss. He lived a rich life. He died at the age of over 90, and he was still... And Paddy Banjo, yes, and he was
still... They died almost the same time.
And he was still very able to, weigh in on very weighty matters of importance, of national importance. He was fiery till the end. His voice was very loud, very vocal, very powerful, and he lived quite an influential life and had an impact on the nation Nigeria. So we celebrate these men who have now gone, to rest in peace, hopefully, and then we hope that their legacies will live on. It's not how long they say you live, but how well. Some of them live very long and live very well. Right. And so it's good to see that their stories will never die, their lives will never be forgotten, based on the impact they've made in political history of Nigeria.
All right. Let's take another milestone report where we'll take a moment to remember the lives of Nigerian celebrities in film and music industries who passed away last year and the indelible mark they made on some of Nigeria's most vibrant industries today, starting with Asa Koko, a veteran Nollywood actor who passed away on the 30th of January. Koko was a prominent figure in the Yoruba film industry whose career spanned well over a decade. The industry also lost Columbus Irosaga, who passed away this year in February. He was known for often playing the native doctor role in Nigerian films, but the actor also taught as a senior lecturer at the University of Port Harcourt. In June, shock reverberated through the industry with the death of theatre and film producer Kayode Peters. His colleagues described him as a dedicated filmmaker who would also frequently mentor the next generation of Nigerian creatives. In July, another veteran actor, Tom Njemaze, passed away. He lived through an illustrious career in film and television, appearing in productions from the earliest days of video films to more contemporary productions in Nollywood. Segun Remi, also known as Karan, was a beloved figure in Yoruba films, known for his comedic timing and unique roles. He helped shape the comedic genre within Nigerian film that helped him connect with broad audiences. Audiences also connected with the actor Fabian Adiwie, who was one of the early defining faces of Nigerian TV dramas. He passed away in August and may best be remembered for his critical role as Ogbuefi Uzowulu in NTA's adaptation of Things Fall Apart. The industry lost another giant with the passing of Awal Ademola in December, a legendary actress, producer, and director who passed away in Lagos just days ago. Colleagues and fans alike took to social media to send their tributes, expressing grief over the loss of a giant in Yoruba cinema. Finally, this year, the passing of music legend Mike Ejeagha, popularly known as Gentleman Mike Ejeagha, who was well-known Nigerian folklorist and songwriter from Enugu State. Ejeagha produced over 350 songs throughout his career and passed away in June at the age of 95.
Nasi manenya chebenyi Odekasi na bata menyi Akwenyi gabisi oche Akwenyi gabisi oche Enyi naga na iso inazu Enyi naga na iso inazu Gbogbogbongbo Gbogbogbongbo Gbogbogbongbo
All right, amazing. Yes.
So he was honored. The song resurrected thanks to Brain Jotta. Brain Jotta, and so he was given a how. He got a lot of recognition before he passed. I thought that was such a fitting tribute before he passed on.
There's a passage in Shakespeare, Julius Caesar. He says, "When beggars die, there are no comets seen, but the heavens themselves blaze forth the death of princes." What this means is that people will make impact. A common thing to all the persons you are paying tribute to, whether it is Olweb Ademola, or it is Mike Ejaga, or it is Fabian Adibe, or it is President Buhari and others, is that these are persons who lived a life of impact and who made a difference in their chosen vocations. And that should be a lesson for us all the living. Death being the price that every human being will pay. That when you are on the stage, play your part and play it well and make an impact so that you can be remembered as having made a difference in your chosen vocation. That's the lesson for the living.
Fantastic. Our director is also saying we should not forget our very own Soni Majuago, who passed away as well. Again, may their souls continue to rest in peace. More under milestones. Because 2025 was also a year of love, where we saw numerous couples across the world tie the knot with their loved ones. We begin with weddings in Nigeria, with the surprise wedding of the special advisor to the president on policy and political matters, Hadiza Bala Usman, who tied the knot with Shehu Diko. Their wedding was announced last Wednesday and took place in Zaria, Kaduna State, and was reportedly held at the home of her late father, Yusuf Bala Usman. We also saw the marriage of the secretary to the government of the Federation, George Akume, marrying Zainab Nguemba George, the former wife of the Oni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogusi. She was also reportedly married to a former governor of Jigawa State. Congratulations to both of them. Then in September, Halima Junaid, the granddaughter of the late former President Muhammadu Buhari, got married in an Islamic ceremony in Kaduna with an event that brought together dignitaries from across the country. In April came JP 2025, the wedding of Priscilla Ojo, the daughter of Nollywood star Iyabo Ojo, and Juma Jux, the Tanzanian music star. Then, in May, was the wedding of Aisha Diko Umaru Rada, the daughter of Katsina State Governor, to Ahmed Usman. The wedding captured the public's attention even more as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu graced the event. The president also graced the wedding of Nasiruddin Yari, the son of former governor of Zamfara State, Abdulaziz Yari, to Safia Shehu Idris. And from Zamfara, let's now head to Venice, Italy, where the world's A-listers all gathered in June for the wedding of Amazon founder Jeff Bezos to Lauren Sanchez. It was considered one of the most expensive weddings of 2025, with Forbes estimated it cost $25 million or more. Well, another expensive wedding that reportedly cost between $14 million and $15 million was that of Afrobeat star Mr. Easy, who got married to billionaire businessman Femi Otedola's daughter, Temi Otedola, in 3 separate events in 3 different places: Monaco, Dubai, and Iceland. Finally, 2025 saw the wedding of Afrobeat superstar Davido and his wife Chioma tying the knot for their white wedding in Miami as a beautiful culmination of their years-long love story.
weather. I'm young, ordinary, paranoid. I can picture this without you, my life.
Whoa, congratulations. Now, from the surprise wedding of Hadiza Bala Usman in Zaria to lavish ceremonies in Venice and Miami, 2025 was truly a year of love and celebration. These unions brought together families, dignitaries, and A-listers from around the world, reminding us that amid life's challenges, love remains a beautiful reason to celebrate. We wish all the couples a lifetime of happiness together. Congratulations. What are you saying about my wedding? Which wedding was that?
Yes,
yes. Oh, the two Baba, yes, the legendary two Baba.
And next year,
yes,
our prayer is that when you are redeeming wedding, this year,
this year,
that Rufai Hosseini will be there. Rochu Sodiri
will be there.
We will also appear on television dancing, and Kingsley Ikenna.
All the bachelors. My sister's wedding too was in Yes, it was beautiful, really, really.
Yeah.
So we are waiting for your wedding.
That wedding was
year.
graced by the likes of
all you bachelors, you are okay. We send you to China.
Well, all right. But you know,
where they say condom is expensive now. You meet with a woman, you impregnate because China wants to increase population.
All right. On that note, I'd love to thank you all for your great analysis on What's Trend. It's always fun hanging out with you all. Go have a great new year. Well, that's all I have for you guys on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.
It's getting cold inside. Double weather. I'm young, ordinary, paranoid. I can picture this without you, my life.